Weekend couldn't slow Doge down. There was a huge exodus over at the National Archives. Persnickety librarians were getting Doged silly. The Dewey Decimal System's next. It was Pink Slip City at the FDA, Medicare, and Medicaid, and the IRS is on deck.
These are foreign nationals who come into the United States. They use fake Social Security numbers. They use fake identities to steal billions in taxpayer benefits. There's no way to know until Doge gains full access exactly how much money we're talking about. But over a 10-year normal budget window, you could be talking about saving over $1 trillion by clamping down on massive fraud in our tax and entitlement systems, including, again, those carried out by organized fraud and theft rings.
Biden hired 87,000 IRS agents, gave them guns, and we're getting ripped off to the tune of $1 trillion. Because Biden had his sights set on America's real enemy, Pete Hegseth. Right before Inauguration Day, Biden's IRS audited Pistol Pete. Biden's son's a tax cheat, and he's auditing Hegseth, the incoming defense secretary, who doesn't have enough on his plate keeping America safe. So now Elon and Big Balls are going to audit the auditors and upgrade the software because they're using programs from the 1960s. Democrats are hysterical that Elon and Big Balls are opening up the books because they assume Elon will just abuse their power like they did and audit their political enemies. You remember, like, Lois Lerner? And then she fried 24,000 emails so Congress couldn't investigate. Democrats leaked Trump's tax returns to Maddow. Maddow's like waving them live on TV. That's a felony. And they're worrying about Musk? Democrats are already in prison for doing what they're accusing Musk of. Whose tax returns is he going to leak? Hunter's? He didn't file any. Almost 1,000 people have full unmasked access to taxpayer data. 20 of them are student researchers, basically interns, have access to your tax returns. Democrats don't care. They only care when the guy who has access might find fraud. Like all good detectives, Doge is following the money. Next up on the list, Fort Knox, home to the largest gold reserve in the country, and we go years without sending inspectors in. How much gold does Fort Knox hold? Only one way to find out. This all happening while massive amounts of gold bullion are being flown in from London vaults. It can't all be because Judge Jeanine's going jewelry shopping, can it?
Work for big institutions on Wall Street. They spend millions on research and make back billions in profits. In my opinion, the best way to trade is to follow their trades. Essentially, buying when they buy and selling when they sell. Buying when they buy, selling when they sell. They don't make this information public, but they do drop clues. We call it finding their financial footprint. And if you click on the link below, you can sign up for a free trading investing workshop that will outline the exact strategy we teach to follow the smart money. Over the past 25 years, we've taught this approach to hundreds of thousands of students across the country, with a 97% student satisfaction rating from more than 218,000 course reviews. Trading Academy is the leader in trading and investing education. Our talented instructors come from a variety of backgrounds, including former hedge fund managers, floor traders, brokers, and more. These people know what they're talking about. Not only will you begin learning how to follow the smart money, but you'll also learn strategies for growing your retirement portfolio in a variety of market conditions, how professionals profit when stocks are falling, when to buy and when to sell based on a strategy and a plan, how to protect your investments against inflation, and so much more. Click the link below now to join a free trading and investing workshop.
Work today is broken. We're all working in too many disconnected apps, and it's killing team productivity. But for the first time, there's a platform that fixes it by combining everything you need: projects, chat, and knowledge in one place. It's all powered by the world's most complete work AI, so you can find answers from anywhere and get work done faster. Introducing ClickUp, the everything app for work.
Dozers are still sniffing out the bacon. Here's what they found this weekend. $35 million for a gender equality and women empowerment hub, a girl hub, where women hang out and pump each other up. Sounds like a sorority. $29 million to strengthen political landscape in Bangladesh. That is so generic. It could be anything. Strengthen the political landscape. It's vague for a reason. DOGE says we spent $21 million for voter turnout in India. Now imagine if the Indian government spent $21 million for voter turnout in America and Trump won. When they do it, it's election interference. When we do it, it's strengthening the political landscape. $1.5 million for voter confidence in Liberia. What are we doing? Giving pep talks to Africans before they cast ballots? You got this. We got this. It's going to work this time. Why are we spending so much money on other countries' elections while we're still counting votes in California? Those also found $14 million for social cohesion in Mali. Mali's run by mercenaries and plagued by ancient ethnic warfare. Not to mention landmines, torture, sexual violence, and child marriage. I'm sure that $14 million is just what Mali needs to be socially cohesive. And $2 million to help Kosovo and Egypt recycle. We don't even recycle here. What are we, just buying them blue bins? We just bombed the bejesus out of Kosovo, and now we're telling them to recycle. A new report says the government's already nearing $1 trillion in the hole for the year. Democrats should not fight this. Their boys, Bill and Al, were for Doge before Doge was cool.
Mr. President, if you want to know why government doesn't work, look behind you. The answer is at least partly on those forklifts. Is this the way it has to be? Well, the good news is that it doesn't have to be this way. We can cut it dramatically. We can downsize government by 12%, reducing the bureaucracy by 252,000 positions.
DOGE is forklifting the fraud out of Washington. So what are Democrats doing? Sheryl Crow says she's selling her Tesla and donating the money to NPR. And rhinos are roaring at Democrats to do something.
So I just like to see somebody wake the hell up and get excited about the fact that your country is under assault. They're not at the gate anymore. They're in your bedrooms. They're in your living rooms. They're in your businesses. They got your data, dumbass. They got all your stuff. Elon Musk has his tentacles in everything you're doing, not just off of X, but now he's in the Treasury Department. He's in the Labor Department. He's in the Department of Homeland Security. And nobody seems to give a damn. So that's all I want, somebody to show that they care enough to get off their fat ass and say something about it.
What Steele's saying is the Democrats believe the government's theirs. It's not your government, it's theirs. To them, it's like DOGE is auditing the DNC. So this is just another Watergate. They're acting like Trump didn't win the election, and he has no right to run the government. Instead of defending the taxpayers, the media is defending the government. Here's 60 Minutes.
People are really scared. I think that, 12 days ago, people knew where their next paycheck was coming from. They knew how they were going to pay for their kids' daycare, their medical bills, and then all gone overnight.
All gone overnight for Christina Dry and Adam Dubard, fired this month in the chaotic shutdown of foreign aid.
They're not looking for competency. They're not looking for if you're good at your job. They're looking for pure loyalty tests. And if you don't give it, you will be punished.
There was no process. No one explained to them why they were being relieved.
To my knowledge, they received an email, and then if they didn't leave the building, they were escorted out of the building.
These people got generous buyouts, 8-month severance. I'm sorry, but did CVS interview the fired Keystone Pipeline workers, the fired Army officers who refused the needle, or Black Americans who lost their job to migrants? No. That one lady was Samantha Powers' speechwriter. She's no random civil servant. She's the top flack for the USAID chief. Just last week, this same lady told ABC she was pocketing her pride flags. The networks are using the same victim over and over.
DOGE was in the building. We took down our pride flags. I took out any books I felt would be incriminating. No one was talking. We heard they started taking transcripts automatically of all of our Google Meets. They unplugged the news in the little kitchen galleys. It didn't feel good. And then Saturday, all of the websites went down, and then I lost complete access to my computer.
60 Minutes is CBS's premier investigative unit. And they never mention the $20 million for Iraqi Sesame Street, or sex changes in Guatemala, or DEI operas, or all the dough spent on failed coups. Never mentioned it. We're $36 trillion in debt. We're cutting headcount, just like media organizations do to balance their books, just like Clinton and Gore did. Last week, Vance was in Germany and told the chancellor to knock off the censorship and step up their NATO spending. And the American media sided with the Germans and called Vance Hitler.
He was standing in a country where free speech was weaponized to conduct a genocide. And he met with the head of a political party that has far-right views and some historic ties to extreme groups. The context of that was changing the tone of it. And you know that the censorship
I have to disagree with
was
you.
specifically about the right.
No, I have to disagree with you. Free speech was not used to conduct a genocide. The genocide was conducted by an authoritarian Nazi regime that happened to also be genocidal because they hated Jews and they hated minorities and they hated those that they had a list of people they hated, but primarily the Jews. There was no free speech in Nazi Germany. There was none.
It was illegal to criticize the Nazi government. It was against the law to tell a joke about Hitler, and he had a dumb mustache and one testicle. Couldn't joke about it. Newspapers were shut down, books were burned, radio stations were censored. Free speech didn't trigger the Holocaust. CBS's crack research team's too busy editing the Kamala interview to learn that. On the same day, CBS celebrated an armed raid in Germany because a guy posted a cartoon.
It's 6:01 on a Tuesday morning, and we were with state police as they raided this apartment in northwest Germany. Inside, 6 armed officers searched a suspect's home, then seized his laptop and cell phone. Prosecutors say those electronics may have been used to commit a crime. The crime, posting a racist cartoon online.
And it's a crime to insult them online as well?
Yes.
If somebody posts something that's not true, and then somebody else reposts it or likes it, are they committing a crime?
Yeah, in the case of reposting, it is a crime as well, because the reader can't distinguish whether you just invented this or just reposted it.
Germany's letting migrants into the country who are committing gang rape, and they have cops kicking down doors over a cartoon. CBS is defending Germany, a country who started 2 world wars that cost millions of lives, and who tariff our automobiles quite unfairly, I might add. They're defending a country who boos our national anthem, Canada. Trump renamed the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America, and the media is defending Mexico. The media is defending the IRS. The media is defending cockamamie spending like millions for Egyptian recycling. Trump has the left defending the indefensible. The Democrats have become so toxic that Politico is warning them to just stay out of the way. Quote, despite this intense daily barrage of negative reporting, Trump's drive to slash the size of the U.S. government remains one of his most popular policies, and there's no sign of it stopping anytime soon. Trump's in the driver's seat, and Democrats are getting lapped.